Alrighty. Better late than never. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Had some technical difficulties. It took a copy, but all worked out now. So let's try it again. Let's get the dollar index up on the screen right there. And as you can see, find it right there. There we are. Dollar index acting very strong, or consistent. Let's put it that way. It's not necessarily strong. It's just solidly consistent. And there doesn't seem to be any way of stopping it at this point. It just keeps on marching along. We're really confused if there's just no. It seems to be that the Federal Reserve seems to be totally lost, and the administration seems to be totally lost. And there doesn't seem to be any coherency whatsoever. We're at a point now where we're wondering: are they dumb, or are they, are they treasonous? That's what it comes down to. And it's a very, very, very odd situation. Very odd. And so we see it. We just don't believe what the answer could be. And we're really sad about that because, Mrs. Yellen, it seems like they're all organized now to live now, just answering. Now, thank you. There we go. So that's really what the problem is. That's exactly what the problem is. We really don't know. And that's the title of our show today, too, is is our government that dumb or treasonous? That's what it really comes down to. Are they that incompetent or treasonous? I don't know anymore. None of it makes any sense. It just keeps on rolling along. As you can see here, the stock market. Let's go back to the stock market there. There's the stock market. They knocked it down pretty decent. It was up and down, and now it looks like they're trying to. You can see we're definitely in the sell at the moment right here on the intraday right there. You can see that it's below the zero line since this little peak there, working its way down. We saw where Nevada. Let's go show you some of the stocks that are going on too, unless someone has a question, and then you can just fire a question out. There's the chat line. Say hi. Exactly what it comes down to. And you can see the euro today right there. And that's the South African rand. They're cruising along on the downside. They're gaining against the dollar, which means gold is gaining against the dollar, which is pretty cool. You can see the euro, just hanging right there on the side, moving down softly since the expiration. We had a $5 trillion option expiration, which was pretty dead, really. It was not very exciting. And it looks like we've joined in on the selling again today from yesterday. In everything, from the stocks to the currencies and so forth, they seem to be pushing them down at the moment. The only one it's not is the South African rand. The unity government down there seems to be a very positive thing. So can't complain about that. And what else we got going on here? Let's take a look at some of the. We'll jump around, and we showed you the dollar index. How it's pushing up, and show you the beta right there. Just throw the beta up on there. There's the beta. And that's the dollar index. Let's move it over. See that right there? It's been pushing up, and you can see the weekly's been in a buy. Same as the stock market right here. We'll just put it back in there again. Same situation as the dollar index on our live platform. That right there. There we go. Oh, we want to open up grains too. Let's open up those grains. So that's the story, traders. We really don't know anymore about the way our government is. We've seen it now since November. There's no clarity whatsoever about the idea of how they're going to cut interest rates when inflation keeps on pushing up on the upside. They really don't have. They don't have a comfort level at this point. They don't really have an explanation. And it just keeps on going. They don't. They talked about lowering it 7 times. It's all for politics. That's the weird part. And incompetent. I'm already putting the or treason. There we go. I got that all set up. So when we finally do get to it, it'll be there. All right. Now let's go back to and look at the dollar index again on the screen here, since we just showed you the beta right there. There it is. So it's showing you that push up there for whatever logical or illogical reasons. See, it's up in here in this area here. It's actually making a threat back to the 106. Very strange. And then we'll just push us right back over to the euro. And there's the euro. You can see it's been moving down. It's in a weekly sell now for a second week. So, it's not the worst things in the world, and it's not the best things in the world. It's just kind of, you can see here, it's not taking out the lows right here or there. So we're not exactly worried about it, on a big scale. We're only, it's just a sloppy scale, I guess you could say. That's what it really comes down to, in a sloppy situation. And there's not much more that can be said about it than that. And again, its question is, the only things moving are some of these tech stocks. And if it wasn't for the tech stocks, the incentive would be even more fearful. And you got to wonder, when we see gold and we see all the other things trying to move up all the time, it shows you that there is definitely some fear underlining. And there's headlines about hedge fund managers constantly concerned, not sure what to do, how to do, what does it all mean, things like that. I mean, it really is, it really has a lot of people on edge, and they're not sure why it should be on edge. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. It really doesn't. And it just keeps on rolling that way. So let's see, let's go over to here, minimize that, pull this over to here, and we'll put that up on the screen like so. And that's that dollar index right there. Let's go with that right there. There we are. We'll just bounce back and forth on them. And so it really has us, scratching our heads. And see, there's certain products out there that give you direction, that tell you that it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. That's the, I guess you could say that's kind of like the nice thing, It tells us that it's not doing what it's supposed to do. And so when it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, well, at least we have a good idea. It's like our algorithms. Our algorithms, when we're in the weekly and we're seeing the weekly numbers going on, we have an idea. When it goes into a weekly sell, we know there's pressure on the market. So that's the issue that's really going on here, is that we know there's pressure on the overall stock market. And I imagine if Mr. Trump doesn't win, I can't imagine him not winning, but because he's putting all the effort out that needs, he's doing all the right things to win. Let's put it that way. That's where we're at with Mr. Trump. And the country sees it and agrees with him. And they disagree with the Bidenomics, and they realize that this is not a good thing. And for some reason, Mr. Biden doesn't seem to care. That's the odd part right there. So let's go back over to the euro. And there's the euro. Let's go to the cable. And there's the cable. You see that? Doing the same thing, moving down. It's trying to get some legs into it. You know, it's trying to be, it's trying to lift. It's having pressure. It's playing with the weekly sell, as you see right there. It's playing with the weekly sell right there. See it right there, and what you see is the overall is that they know that interest rates are transitory. Probably that's one of the only safest things you could actually say about it, is that they are transitory. They should have never said that about the inflation, but they could easily say it about the interest rates, because we know that interest rates are going to come down when the inflation stops. And that's always, a good thing, really. So why does the government, our president, the Treasury, and the Fed keep on following odd policies? That's the really question. Even down to the borrowing. We don't even understand why they're borrowing money at an expense higher than they have to. Almost a full percentage point. None of it makes any sense anymore. They've really lost their direction. They have really, really, really lost their direction. And there seems to be no stopping it. That's the odd part. So, from there, let's see. Let's do that one right there. And then go to this one right there. Clicking away on all the things that need to be done. There we are. Because normally I'm tied up trading, but since things got delayed by Dugoscopy, we're getting our act together, and we're doing this live, so it can, the recording can make it out there later today. So I could do it as a recording and just send it out, but I think it makes more sense to try to do it live. All right, so let's jump over to now from there. We'll go over to the beta, and let's look at let's jump around a little bit. Let's take a look at NVDA. Found that to be very fascinating. They really put that's the powerhouse of the stock market. And I'm going to jump back and forth to currencies and the stock market and do all kinds of things today. But you can see there on the beta, let's see, where's it at? Right there. There's NVDA today. It's in a daily sell from yesterday, going on a second day. You can see the weekly is moving down fast on that. And it'll be interesting to see how they close it and tonight. And then we go around. When we started this webinar, the Dow was up, down 60 points. Now the Dow is up 60 points. So, the markets are just washing back and forth. The pressure on them is very minimal. It's not anything too extreme at the moment. We don't really see a lot of problems at this point. As much as there's great concern and misunderstanding what's going on, and we've told you, over and over, borrowing money for no reason at a higher rate could take over a full percentage point off, not a tenth or a tick. You're talking a whole percentage point. And at the same time, we're seeing that same action go on, with policies, and everybody's concerned and they don't understand. It's like, why are they doing this to us? It's the question really is it do they just want to get rid of us at this point? Is that what it is? They don't want America to be America anymore, and it's not going to work because our laws, it takes a lot of work to change those laws, and our Constitution takes a lot of work. So none of it. It's like incompetency or treason. You're not sure which one's which anymore. Of what they're doing and why they're doing it. But anyway, we look at the products themselves, And they tell us, that when you look at the dollar index, it tells us something's going on, and it doesn't make any sense to us, because if they were really going to lower rates, the dollar index would be, moving down. It wouldn't be moving up. And that's all we see constantly is the dollar index moving up. And it seems odd. Every time they try to take it down, money reaches for it, and they go and buy the dollars. And that's what we've been seeing in a lot of different things. Let's go just check it out right there. Let's just double check if we got that. Go one more time. Okay, active. And then that. Let's check out that as we speak. We'll go through the great inflation fighters, the Swiss. They've done a really fine job on that. So there is, let's switch you over to here. And you can see the Swiss, there's GBP, flying, like we've already told you that story before, and that is that the Tories think they're the Tony Blair party now. And so they're going to get voted out, and there's a good chance they're not even going to be the opposition party. Nigel Farage's Conservative Party right now is polling better than the Tories. And so, they're signing people up left and right, and it's going to be a real fight to see who gets what. Because at this point, I'm not sure if Farage is taking from the Labour side at all, or just all the Tory side. But one thing is for sure is they are definitely outperforming everybody. It is happening that way. Now let's take a look at the real inflation fighters. And there's the Swiss. You see it's moved up a little bit right there. What's that line? And it's got a little pressure on it. It's the second day in a daily buy. Let's grab this buy right there and just move it over like that. And it's still in the weekly sell. So I'm not deeply concerned with the way the Swiss is acting, but I am very, very happy with what they've done. They've done a really, really fine job. I mean, they really have. They've really conquered. I guess you could say, they're controlling the inflation to the point now where they don't have to worry about it, which is really cool. Ooh, wait a second. I think my phone is off. Let me just plug that in. There we are. And so with the Swiss up there, that basically tells us how strong things really are with the Swiss. They, maybe it'll get back up into low 90, something like that. I kind of doubt that they will, do anything wilder than that. I'm not really confident that they're going to have much of a problem, because they've really showed incredible responsibility to their country and to their banking system at the same time. And that's really important, whereas here in the United States, we don't know what we're seeing at this point. None of it's making any sense whatsoever. And as I've said before, it's incompetency or treason. There's not much more that can be decided. I mean, it's, for all those economists at the Fed and, the history, and they should know better, and the Treasury borrowing at a full percentage point higher for no reason. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. We're really in very strange times. Very, very, very strange times. Let's see, where else are we? So let's do that. From there, we go over to the yen. And the yen keeps on marching up. They bailed out the fifth largest bank in Europe, so they've got some issues over there. There's no doubt about that, and they're trying to figure it out. Really, that's what it comes down to. And then I guess you can say the same thing with the Federal Reserve is bailing out that bank. That's the thing, is they're actually bailing it out, or they're giving a lot of overnight money, just like they do with the keep everything pumped up over here in the States. And so you can see here, this currency is now losing constantly against the dollar for that specific reason, and it's not really letting go about it either. It's like, no, I don't really don't trust the marketplace anymore. That's what it's pretty much telling us. All right, let's jump over to the stocks again. Just keep on marching around. Anybody's welcome to ask questions. Chances are you're not asking any questions, but that's the way it goes. And so let's take a look at like Carvana. This was, now that the stock market's open, I'm focused in on products I'm paying attention to. So I'm running through them and doing that as a webinar at the same time. And anybody that wants to jump in and say anything, be my guest. And so at this point, and there's Ford Motor Company. Look at that. Looking very firm, second day. Trying to get into the buy. It's been in the sell since this $13 area. And, or I guess it was this week, right in here in a 12.5, 13 area closed in a weekly sell. And then, you see the fast was even more lower. And so that's the action we're seeing when it comes to the Ford Motor Company. I just want to save that data right there. Ford Motor. There we go. Then from there we go back to the currencies. Let's see, where's that at? Right there. We'll go take a look at the Turkish lira. Turkish lira is playing the top side of the range, trying to get into a daily buy, and the weekly, which started the week off underneath, has pushed itself back up over again. And so that's showing the pressure of the dollar being strong, because every time they think they're going to lower the rates, they don't. That's the problem. Every time they think they're going to lower those rates, they don't. And when they don't, it confuses everybody. There's shipping there. There's the shipping companies. You see it, Zim, and was playing with the weekly buy, and it still is. It's still trying to flirt its way back into a weekly buy, which is really interesting. And that's, that has been because of the, I guess you could say, the violence that's going on in the world. Mr. Biden is not very good at negotiating and being the peacemaker, whereas someone like Mr. Trump was very good at it. And because of that, that pressure is, when it comes to world commerce, we're seeing lots of problems. And if you don't have good commerce and business going on, then you don't get currency trading as active. And that's part of the reason why we see all the time the currency market kind of dead, not having much life in it. So that's the whole idea there. And then from there, what do? We go take a look at... oh, wait a minute. You haven't been seeing the currencies as I've been talking about them. Let me go back and show you the currencies. Didn't realize that. I still have the beta up there. Just looked over and saw that. Oh, no. Okay, that's right. You're seeing the currencies right there. Let me close that. You did see the currencies. And so from there, we go back to here and take a look at the South African Rand. You can see that's been working its way down. And when that's working its way down, let's put gold up on the beta because it gives you a good example of the two different charts at the same time. There it is right there. And as you see it, as this is going down, the South African Rand, of course, you see gold going up, marching up. Now, they started off high this morning, and now they're putting a little pressure on it. Let's go back over to here and see what it looks like over there. Like that. And let me just save these two real quick. And we'll put the gold up there. There we are. And let's do this one too. Let's do the Bitcoin ETF. Now, there's no reason really, I guess, to rush towards Bitcoin at the moment. Who knows? I remember someone asking, does inflation affect Bitcoin? I didn't have a really strong opinion about it, but I really didn't think there was a reason for it. It's a combination of being a currency. There's a combination of it being Let's go back over to it. There was the gold. And you can see the gold was up, and now it's down. They're smacking it, and it's starting to play with the sell, which is a surprise, Wrong spot for that. We'll remove that. Let's try that one more time. Put it up in here. So gold is feeling some pain in there. And it started off the day in the plus. And now it's just pushing down. And doesn't seem to be stopping. That's the thing. It looks like they really want to punch on it a little bit in there. And we've seen that so many times before where they do that. And so at this point, let me just do that. I want to save that. There it is right there. All right. So, what was I looking at? I was looking at... oh, yeah. So gold is getting pushed down. I imagine they're doing the same thing to silver. Let's take a look and see. Where is silver? Right there. There's the silver. Same thing. They're trying to put the pressure on that at the same time. This morning, they were lifting both of these products up. They found ways to make them go up, not down. Sometimes that's really more of an effect of the inflation slash interest rates. The interest rates are higher and affecting us more than the inflation rate. I think that's what it comes down to, and that's what we're really seeing too. I mean, that's another thing that's been really odd, is that we don't see the right interest rates anymore. We're not seeing them. They're not making much sense. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's what's telling us a lot of interesting stories. There we go. And I wonder what they're doing to copper, if they're beating up on all this other stuff. Let's take a look and see. And there is the copper. Copper's taking that same hit. Interesting. Pressure is on everywhere. And that would be, we should go look at the interest rates themselves and see what they're doing. There is the 30-year bond. You see it's was up higher, now it's kind of flat. So not exactly the worst thing in the world going on interest rates, but something's putting a little panic into the old metal market. I wonder what they're doing to platinum. Now platinum is holding on by a thin thread. You can see that. It's a little bit higher now than it was of yesterday's close. At the same time, we're in weekly sells and pretty much all those things. Let's go back to, our beta was reflecting gold, and the weekly was trying to press up. It was actually trying to get into the buy. It was kind of interesting to see that. It seems to have shrunk down a little bit. All right. From there, we shoot over to the energy sector. Right there. There's the oil. Now, supposedly Ukraine bombed a bunch of refineries or something. I don't know. They're always doing something to that. They're always blowing something up or knocking something over, or I don't know. It goes on and on and on. It doesn't seem to stop. But it doesn't seem to have that much of an effect on the oil market there. You can see that. Same thing right here on the beta. Don't see that having an effect on it either. Just the same way. And then from there, we go and look at the Brent. The Brent's looking very firm. You can see it here on the beta. Lots of solidness there. Another week in a buy. It's pressing up, not down. So as long as they keep on pressing up, there's not much reason to believe that there's going to be that much problem. I mean, I think that's really what it comes down to. And so that's what we're seeing here, is the market's moving in that direction, and it doesn't seem to be letting go. So from there, natural gas also has been pushing down. We can see that. I'll show you natural gas on the screen here. Let's see, natural gas. There's natural gas, and we've even seen that the gas stock down in Spain holding on pretty well. Nat gas, where are you, nat gas? Right there, there it is. See that, a little pressure on it again today. We're looking at 6 out of the last 7 days. It's been in a daily sell. That's why it's been moving it down like that. And the pressure has never let go. You know, it keeps on pushing on it. Let's see where we're at there. So from natural gas, we'll take a look at the Spain company again. Right there. Just, you know, they seem to have opened it up, and now they're knocking it down more. You can see the pressure on it. It's something like 14 or 15 days. Where is that? Like right there. There's 4 right there. There's 8. And there is another 4. That's 12. So 13 days in a daily sell. So they knew. You can see here, there's 5 and there is 4. That's 9, 10. So they went into the sell up in this area here. Right in there, they went into the sell there. And so that pressure there, you know, you can see the weekly picked up the same thing. They closed it this week in a sell, and then the following, you know, then the European Parliament came along and had a very major change to it, and moving away from the socialism back to the capitalism again. And before you know it, it's straightened out again. So we really are seeing some really changing times. And as we said about the British pound, it's become basically Nigel Farouk's Conservative Party starting to overtake the Tories. Maybe the Tories have come to their end, I guess. That's what it feels like. Maybe, you know, the Tory party is going to have to reorganize itself, you know, and start talking Thatcherism again. Why they run away from things at work, I have no idea. But they definitely have, and as long as they do that, it puts pressure on those markets. So from the energy stocks, we move down to, I guess what we'll do is we'll take a look at the Nikkei, check out the global markets, and then we'll get out of here unless someone has a question. So you can see there, the Nikkei, you know, was down today, but it's been in a daily buy for 2 days and barely hanging on for a third day. But the weekly's been in the sell for 2 weeks. Over in Kospi, over in South Korea, you have it climbed into a buy last night. They sold it off today, but it's still in the buy, I think, because of the green dot. We'll find out tomorrow. And you can see we are 2 full weeks in a weekly buy. And then from there, we slide over to, let's go to Taipei, and we'll look at the Taiwan or the chip index, whatever way you want to refer to it. But I always look at it as the chip index. And you can see there, even with Nevada feeling the pain the last couple of days, and we can show you Nevada today. Let's show you that. You know, it's climbing up, but Nevada has been having an issue of late. There it is right there. You know, and they're smacking it down the last 2 days. It's the second day in a sell, and the weekly is trying to roll over. We'll see how they play there. And that's basically the number one chip company and the largest company in the world, which is being sold down a little bit here the last 2 days. So Taiwan itself doesn't seem to care. I guess they make more than just what Nevada makes, and so no one really is that concerned about the whole process. From there, we jump over to the Philippines. Wow, look at that smash the Philippines did. And you can see it's been in a daily sell now for 8 days now. It's been in a daily sell, this whole move from here all the way over to there. And so the pressure's been on it. It's been in a weekly sell all the way back on the 24th, I'm sorry, the 24th back in here. So it went into the weekly sell in this area here. And as you can see, it's been on that downwardly draft. Now we'll go check out Shanghai. There's Shanghai. They're trying, it was closed down by a little bit. And it's in a daily sell for a second day. And we're in a weekly sell for a whole 5 weeks. Going on a 6 now. All the way back into here. This week right there. That's where it went into the weekly sell. So then from there we glide up to Hong Kong. Or I guess we're gliding down to Hong Kong. We go down to Hong Kong. Let's see what the Hang Seng looks like. Hang Seng's been in a daily buy for a couple of days here. A little weakness today. But you can see it there. It's a third day in a buy. And notice the weekly is trying. We'll know on Monday evening how much this has changed, if we've closed this week in a weekly buy or not. By Monday, we may have our whole new beta. So we're really looking forward to that. Matter of fact, I might as well contact him and let him know. Not there. Let's see. There we go. There we are. And then from there we slide over to the Singapore Straits Times. STI. Right there. Singapore has been on a slow grind down, but nothing major. It's not taking out like this low there, or not going after this low over here. So overall, the Singapore Straits Times has been very firm. You can see its daily sells. Like, what's that? That's 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's another 4. And so basically 12 days now it's been in a sell. And for 3 weeks it's been in a sell. So the pressure, as much as it's been in a sell and the algorithms have been telling us it's going down, it's not it's not anything more than just that. It's just a very, maybe, a high territory, taking profits. We have a lot of stock indices that are cruising along the all-time high area. So, it's not really as bad as you would think. Look, it doesn't take out these lows. So until they do that, buyers are going to come in on weakness. From there, we slide all the way down to the end, South Pacific, going into the Indian Ocean, and we take a look at the All Ordinaries Index right there. And that's been in a buy for 4 days now. And you can see it's going to close in the weekly buy if it keeps on up like that, because it's been in the daily buy. So it's probably going to close in a weekly buy with no problem. And then we slide over to, what is it? Oh. Oop. Hello. Hello.
Hi, good morning. My name is Tiffany from Lemural Law.
Oh, yes.
I received a phone call from you, but the message was very broken up. So I'm
that's yeah, I know. Cell phones are nothing what they used to be. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Just a quick note. I believe they've cut the power on the reduced power on the microwave transmissions, and that's what's been doing it for the last few years. But anyway, that's besides the point. Joe Bartle. I believe he's in a class with one of Rich's friends, or a partner. Maybe he's a partner in the firm. I'm not sure. He's teaching at one of the junior colleges, and Joe Bartle said to call him and try to line things up. Joe is taking his class, doing very fine in it, but he's a schizophrenic, and he's at the end of his legal battles, And now there's retribution coming around the corner, like the long arm or the law on his side instead of the opposite way. So that I was told to, I was told to give you a call and start communicating with Rich about that, since he supposedly knows about it already. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah.
And who are you to Joe?
Fairy godmother? I think it's the best way to describe it. I sat in the back of the court listening to the whole event, guiding him, giving him direction from, we belonged to the same synagogue at one point, and they put him in rehab down here in South Jersey. And so I recognized that he was not a drug addict, and recognized that there was some mental issue going on. And we've been fighting for the last couple of years to get it documented, and we have. And the courts now are definitely open to a whole change, and at the same time his attorney seemed to refuse to deal with that and just sold him down the river for as a drug addict. And he's been tested, like, I don't know, every other day or every day now for 3 years, and they don't find a thing in him. So it's kind of obviously there's way more evidence than anything else, I guess you could say. And obviously you never sue anybody that doesn't have capital, and there's plenty of capital where we're aiming.
Okay, so I guess that's his legal battle. He's a schizophrenic, but
He's in drug court. He's in recovery court at this point. He's in recovery court. And so I would believe that Rich knows the story, and if he doesn't, then I'll tell Joe that the person who recommended Rich didn't tell him the story. I'm just trying to, like, make it more convenient than you talking to, we can put Joe on at the same time, that type of thing, with the three of us.
So I'm
But
not sure Mr. Lemiro actually knew the story because I told him your name, but
did you tell him Joe Bartle?
Yes.
And he didn't know it. Okay. All right. Why don't I do this? Just you don't need to do any more and waste his time at the moment. Let me get back to Joe and find out what from that side of it. That's what I do. I'm like some type of middle of the road negotiator. To the oddest point, I'll just tell you this because you can tell him, because I find it to be enormously odd. I went up and paid attention to the whole court case, but I sat in the back of the room, didn't address the court, had no reason to address the court. I was just a bystander. When they finally made their decision, in the decision it said that they had to pay attention to me. Now I haven't, why I even came into the whole process, I have no idea, in the sense that why the court would recognize me when I didn't address it to begin with. But they actually told him that he had to pay attention to me in writing. It's the strangest thing I've ever heard.
Are you an attorney as well?
No, I did pro se once for myself, all the way up to U.S. federal court. I'm a, what am I? Too much brains and not enough common sense. I don't know, something like that. I'm a professional trader, have a hedge fund. I have a physics background, do some cybernetics. So I kind of drift around in things, and so there's not much I don't feel challenged by. So when I saw him at the synagogue, and they were saying, "Oh, he's a drug dealer, stay away from him," I'm saying to myself, he doesn't look like a drug dealer. I mean, not drug dealer, drug user. And so I talked to him, and I saw odd characteristics that didn't identify as drugs, since I'm from Wall Street. Trust me, I know what drug addicts look like. So yeah, don't bother him. I'm just giving you this data now. Just keep it to the side. Let me get back to Joe. Let me find out where the break is, where the lack of communications is, and then I'll get back to you again, if that's the appropriate thing to do.
Okay, so I'm not really quite sure what he was looking for.
He's in a. Do you have a partner or someone that's teaching a junior college at the moment? Or he has a friend doing it, one or the other.
That I don't know.
Yeah, that's how. If you do mention anything, it's like ask him if he knows anybody that's teaching a law class in junior college somewhere up there.
In junior college?
Well, community college, whatever they call them nowadays. I'm almost 70 years old, so you know, things are going to come out of my mouth that are from another generation.
And where is this community college?
It's in your neighborhood somewhere. It's yeah, because Joe's in it, and he's living up in Lakewood area maybe or something like that. And I think it's Morris County. No, not Morris County. Mammoth County that he's in trouble with, or is it the one right above it, Ocean? One of the above. And he's living in Ocean. And it's right around there. I think it's. I want to say he's in Mammoth County, recovery court. So you can. I don't want to waste your time any more than that. If the phone rings, just hang up on me.
No, not at all. I'm just trying to, so I have something to tell Mr. Lamiro.
Yeah. That would be the only question. Does he have a friend right now teaching junior college? Community college somewhere, a law class. Because that's how Joe ended up coming to him. He said to me, "Let's call this guy and start the process." I said, "Sure."
Who did Joe tell in this class? This friend of Rich?
Yeah, you know what? He does a lot of text with me. Let me look at his text and see if I can give you the name. Hold on a second. Let's see. I can also tell you that I miss Steve Jobs. Not only do I dislike the way the telephone system's been working, but I really am unhappy with my Apple. Let's see, Joe. There's Joe. Okay. All right, referred Joseph. Oh, here you go. Joseph. Oh God, I gotta say that name. Zav Agila. So it's Zavagilia. First name is Joseph.
Okay, so Joseph knows Mr. Lamiro, who referred.
No, he knows this Zavagila. Zavagila. He knows Joseph Zavagila. Joseph Zavagila recommended Rich, and supposedly knows him. Oh, here we go. Here's more of it. Let's see what it says here. The professor stayed behind because that's the professor, Joseph. Oh, there are two Joes. Oh, great. Joe Bartholomew. Joe. Oh, wonderful. Let's see. I trust my professor. I'm going through it now to see if there's something else that refers to your office. I told the rabbi gypsies, no. All right, so that's as close as we're going to get to what Joe was starting this whole thing off on. So throw that name as Zavlaga. Yeah. How about we just both call him Joseph Z?
Okay. So Joseph Z, I guess, teaches the class that Joe Bartle is in.
Right.
And then Joe is having issues in the monetary recovery court.
Exactly. He's in there now for the last. He's not having issues. He's in it for. First of all, they locked him up, and they locked him up in county jail, I think, for like 90 days. And this is like over 2 years ago now. It's probably going on 3 years. And so then his attorney and his mother said, declare that you're a drug user, and they'll let you out. And so he did that, and in protest no less at the same time, but he did it. And then they put him in this drugs system for the last couple of years. And then finally, about a year ago, if not longer, he went into he dodged. He was in drug court and didn't go to jail, and went to. Finally, was put into recovery court, and I got him involved in like therapy and all kinds of things, not counting the fact he was in a halfway house, and the whole bit, and his parents are not. They're helpful and they're not helpful. And so, and they have tons of equity. So they warehouse them. So they put them in places and spent enormous amounts of money just to warehouse them. And I'm not talking about like facilities. Like he studied Torah for like 14 years in Lakewood. His father is a rabbi, I believe, or he's involved in the religious movement of some form out in Los Angeles, and they're very wealthy. They own lots of real estate out there over the decades, and so end result is it's Stone Age meets the 21st century, as far as I can tell. That's what it seems like to me. And this mental thing that's going on, they seem to deny it all the time. I don't know if it's a spiritual thing or what, but they just deny it. And so they just parked him, and he got in trouble, and a driving violation, and they ended up in county jail from it all. And definitely, justifiable, but then they got him. They went through 3 attorneys before this attorney, and ever since I've gotten involved, it seems like Joe is on a better course, and things are working much better for Joe, because he's not stupid. That's the thing, is he's a smart fellow, but he has a head injury, and it's been there since he was 9 years old. Seems like that's what, and they've been warehousing him basically since like 10, 11 years old, sending him to boarding schools and things like that. Not institutions to repair it. They deny that it exists. So, definitely strange. The whole thing is strange, and the Joe's taking college courses, and he took a law course, and ran across this fellow, and this fellow said, I guess he did really well on his law test or something. I don't know. And the guy said, what's your story? And he told him the story, and he said, I have someone that can help you out, and that's why I'm on the phone with you at this moment in time.
I don't understand what he's looking for mentally in a fight.
Something about, they want to change the plea, they want to do a couple things, they want to sue the attorney that he has, or not has, had, past tense. And I guess there's definitely more that could be adjudicated, as far as I can tell. Trust me, it's a very entertaining story. All the way up to when he ran the border in Canada. He didn't pull over. When the police tried to pull him over, he didn't pull over. He was having an episode and just kept on driving, and then drove all the way through New Jersey into New York State with dozens of police cars paying attention to him. Drove through New York State and drove through the border of Canada. Oh yeah, this whole thing is weird, and obviously time is your friend, and so not showing any drugs in his system for over 3 years since he's been in the system. He smokes a little weed or something like that. I think that was to help his schizophrenia. Now he's on the right medications we got him on the right medications finally over the last 5 months, with drug court fighting it, or recovery court fighting him from getting on the right drug even. It was the weirdest thing. I mean, it's like, if you could fall through the cracks and be noisy at the same time, he's done it. Why they even cited me is amazing. I could understand if I'm sorry? I think it's going to take, I think it would be like, yes, without a doubt. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm just starting the groundwork. So why don't we just start off of confirming that he knows this Joseph Z to start off with.
Okay, perfect. I'll send you this message, and maybe if anything, he can get in touch with Joseph Z, and they can, clear some things up.
Right, because he talks to Joe a couple times a week, and he's the one that recommended Rich, which, I have no idea.
Okay, perfect.
I appreciate it.
Send this over to him.
I gave you enough food for thought. The one with the Canadian border is very entertaining, He goes to a hotel, he runs the border, goes to a hotel, pulls over to a hotel. They tell him that, you're American. He says yes, and they said, I don't know how it came up at the desk. He stayed there for a couple days. Then he turned himself in. Definitely weird. The whole thing is weird.
Well, thank you very much for giving me some more information, and I will send this over to Rich.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.
Have a great day.
Same to you now.